These three graphs look pretty similar. I changed like a little bit of, a little part of them, but one of them is F, one is F prime, and one's F double prime. You're like, what? I literally haven't talked about this in 2.5 weeks. I agree. Here we go. If this is just my function, this is a good old function like you literally saw back in Algebra 1. Where would my relative max be? 10, 1. I would take relative max there. Okay. What about an absolute min? Okay. How about an absolute max? Agreed. Relative min, another one. 7, -2. Relative max. Yeah. You started at a different spot than me. Okay, what about, where is my function concave up? Again, this is just a good old F graph, so you can just look. Where does it look concave up? From what x to what x? Yeah, and I purposely put that little point there. That would be, she said from -7 to -2. So just so you guys know, these right here, these were points. These were all points. And now we're talking intervals. So just to be clear, these are all xy's. And now we're talking from x to x, just to let you know. Bless you. Ooh. Where is this also concave up? 5 to, beautiful. I don't know why I don't have another blank there, my bad. Concave down. -2 to 5. And points of inflection. That's where we change concavity from concave up to concave down or vice versa. At x equals, x is -2 and 5. So you guys, that goes back to Algebra 1. That right there is not calculus, right? Now we've got to do some similar stuff then from an F prime graph. And I'm actually going to let's think about it real fast from an F graph. Why is my function decreasing here? My function is decreasing because F prime is negative. Why is my function increasing here? F prime is positive. You guys, why do I have a min here? F prime goes from negative positive. We want to just say negative positive because we're referring to a min. When it says changes signs, that's just any relative max or min. Good call. Why, does anyone remember, is my function concave down here? Which F does that deal with? Concave down. F double prime is negative versus in pink, my F double prime would be positive, okay? Okay, so let's go do this from an F prime graph. Whoo, now we're going to calculus. My function is decreasing from what x to what x if this is an F prime graph. So maybe we remind ourselves, what makes something, a function decrease if F prime is? Negative. Where on this F prime graph is a negative? She says -7 all the way to -2. Anything below the x-axis. So good, Lena. -7 to -2. Where also is my function decreasing on this F from this F prime graph? 5 to 9, is that right? Good. Where would my function be increasing if I was given this F prime graph? Anytime F prime is positive, and that would be from, do you guys agree, -2 to 5? Oh, and there's another little part. I didn't even see it. 9 to 10, is that what you said, Livy G? Beautiful. Okay, for my function to have a min, think about what made my function up here have a min. F prime had to go from negative to positive. I'm going to write myself a little note. F prime, negative to positive. Where is my F prime graph going from negative to positive? Yes, Danny Main said at -2 and +9. So good. What's going on at positive 5? We have a max because my f prime went from positive to negative. So good. Okay. What makes something concave up? If f double prime is positive. If I'm looking at an f prime graph, how would I get f double prime? The slope. What is f double prime here in black? Negative. What is f double prime here? Woo! From what x to what x? Negative 5 to 2. And where also is the slope of f prime positive?
Negative 5 to 2.
Oh, thanks, Reichert. And say that again, 7 to, beautiful. F is concave down anytime f double prime is negative. If I'm looking at an f prime graph, I need the slope of f prime. The slope of f prime is f double prime. From what x to what x is f double prime negative? Yes, girl, she's saying negative 7 to negative 5. And 2 to 7. Okay. Points of inflection. As a reminder, points of inflection are where f double prime changes signs. F double prime changes signs. When I'm looking at a graph of f prime, how do I get f double prime? Well, it's the slope. Where's the slope of f prime changing signs? At f double prime.
Negative 5.
Yeah, negative 5, f double prime went from negative to positive. And where else is that happening? 2 and 7. So just as a reminder, that's where you said we had mins and maxes of a function. I agree. And those mins and maxes, when you're given an f prime graph, they actually represent points of inflection. Whew. Okay. Last one then. Last one to really jog our mem. From an f double prime graph, all we can really talk about is concavity and the points of inflection. My function is concave up when my second derivative is positive. If this is a second derivative graph, where is it positive? Anywhere above that x-axis. So good, Reichert. You're saying from negative 2 to 5 and 9 to 10. Concave down would just be any time that second derivative is negative. If I'm looking at a second derivative graph, I'm wondering where it's beneath that x-axis. From what x to what x, y'all? Yes, sir, and 5 to 9. Okay, you guys, points of inflection is when that second derivative changes signs. When we were looking at the f prime graph, we said that happened at my mins and maxes because the slope of f prime got me to f double prime. But now it's an f double prime graph. Where's f double prime changing signs?
0.
At the zeros. Well said, Danny. What x's are those? Negative 2, 5, and 9. Agreed. X is negative 2, 5, and 9. Good job. Guys, so now it says we used to only use blank to find mins and maxes. Now we can use f double prime. Okay, so if you're given a graph of f, okay. Do you agree if this is my function, we had a min here, a max here, and a min here, right? We got a min, we got a max, and we got a min. And they're all relative, and that's fine. Not a big deal. But what if we know f double prime is positive? What would my graph look like if f double prime is positive? Concave up, right? If f double prime is positive, can't we be like this? Boop. If my graph is concave up, what do I have right here? If this is my graph, this would be f. If f double prime is positive, that means my function is concave up. What do I have right there? A minimum. Don't I have a min? So if you were to know f double prime is positive, you could jump straight to, oh, I've got a minimum there because anything that's concave down has to have that minimum. What if my f double prime is negative? If you see this, we got to know that my function would look like this. If f double prime is negative and I'm concave down, what do I have there then? We got to have a maximum. Not too bad of rocket science on this first Tuesday back. So I said, hey, here's G. Identify the critical point. You guys, again, critical points, you guys, are where G prime equals 0 or G prime is undefined, either one of those. And then we got to talk about, is it a max, min, or neither? So here we go, people. Here we go. Let's go find that G prime. What is the derivative, of 2x squared? We haven't taken derivatives, unless I bet y'all did over break just for funsies. What's that derivative? 4x minus.
1 over.
That's it, right, Kurt? Okay. To find critical points, we got to go see where is that G prime equals 0 or undefined. What would make this undefined? If x is 0, boom, I got a critical point at x is 0. That's a critical, oh wait, I'm going to put it right here. Classify the critical points. X is 0, because that's where my G prime would be undefined. We also need to set this equal to 0 and solve it. So let's go maybe add 1 over x, or do we want to multiply by x right now? It's up to you. You want to move that 1 over x over first? Okay, Danny Man, you can multiply by x right now. My Livy G, she's adding 1 over x, and now she wants to multiply. Bless you, sir. We're going to get the same thing, though. Wouldn't we have 4x squared equals 1? X squared equals 1/4? X would equal square root? Plus or minus 1/2. Very good. Square root of 1/4 would be 1/2. So you guys, we have 3 critical points. And they didn't, do I get to get rid of one of them? Yeah, I don't have to worry about the negative one. So that's, you're lucky, Riker, because you didn't say it at first and it would have worked in your benefit. So, we've got our critical points. Oh, yeah. This is just another way that we could do this. They want to know if we got a max, a min, or neither. Okay. Instead of doing the sign chart like we've done in the past, but like what was on your last quiz, I want us to figure out mins or maxes based on that second derivative. So you guys, could we go find the second derivative of this? What's the derivative of 4x? G double prime would be 4 minus, instead of writing this as 1 over x and doing the quotient rule, could I write that as negative x to the negative 1? Okay. What would the derivative of minus x to the negative 1 get me? Plus x to the negative second. Is that the same as 4 plus 1 over x squared? Yeah. Okay. So if that's my second derivative, and we got to check these critical points at 0.5. All we've got to do, you guys, is we're going to go plug in. Let's go see what G double prime of 0 is and what G double prime of 1/2 is. So if we find out what my second derivative's value is at 0, what if my second derivative's value is positive? Then I would know my function's concave up and I would have a min. Yeah. So you're right, Liv. We haven't done it like this way before, so I did want to expose you to it. You guys, if I plug in 0 in for x right here. Oh, wait. Do I even have to plug in a 0? Is that bigger than 0? No. So I don't even have to plug in 0 and make sense because that'd be undefined plus 4, so we can't do it. So this is out of my domain. Don't have to worry about it. At 1/2. I don't care what the value is. 1/2 squared, 1 over that plus 4. Would that be positive or negative? It's going to be positive, right? So that's going to be greater than 0. If my second derivative, Mr. Brown and Mr. Rowley, if my second derivative at this x value is greater than 0, that's a positive. It's greater than 0. Wouldn't my function look like this? And therefore, what would I have at that half? A minimum, right? Because that's what they're asking. I agree, it'd be concave up, and we would have a minimum there. So we're going to say minimum at x equals 1/2, because the fancy stuff that we got to write, we got to say g prime at 1/2 equals 0. I'm sorry. Yep. And g double prime at 1/2 was greater than 0. Therefore, g is concave up. Let me say why we had to say this. We had to state like, hey, we got our critical points here. That's when my derivative was equal to 0. And then if my second derivative was positive, we got a concave up graph. Therefore, we would have a min. All right, you guys, let's just finish these up. We got 5 minutes. Let's finish these up. Here we go. It says, which of the following statements must be true? Here's what we know about h prime, and h double prime. Interesting. For h to have an absolute max at -4, do you agree that 5 is the biggest value of those h's? Okay, so you might be tempted, but do we know what's going on in between? Could I have way bigger values at other x values? So I'm not ready to say that that is my biggest value. And they said, which one must be true? No. Concave down means that the second derivative must be negative. From 3 to 7, does it look like my second derivatives are negative? But do they have to be, Livy G? At 4, couldn't my second derivative be positive? We have no idea. I'm not down with B. A max at 7 is when h prime goes from, what is an 8? What would make my function h have a maximum right here? If h concave down or h prime goes from positive to negative, right? H prime positive to negative, or h double prime. Oh, that's smart, girl. That is smart. At 7, Livy G, is h double prime negative at 7? Does that mean if h double prime is negative, it has to be concave down? We have to have a max. I love that logic. Liv. Oh. A max. Oh. Here's how this is confusing. We said h prime would have to go from positive to negative. Did my h prime go from positive to negative? It didn't, but do we know what's going on like right before 7 or right after 7? You know what I mean? They're trying to get us on that, you guys. Oh, snap. I'm liking C, Liv. I'm liking C. And the only reason we knew that was because of our h double prime rule. Liv, you smart. 2026, girl, it is your year. Here we go, people. They gave us G prime, and a G double prime. What's happening when x is -1? When x is -1, are we ready to say we got a max, a min, or there's not enough info? What is this telling us over here? If G double prime is 3, what's my function have to look like? Concave up. If G double prime is 3, if G double prime is positive, what do I have to have right here? A minimum. Shoot. Jesus, right. I agree. Okay. G of 5. G of -5. My bad. Look at this. We got a point. We got 0 and 0. If my G double prime is 0, you guys, means it has no concavity. So it's either flat or just a straight line, just linear, has no concavity. What do we think? Yeah, there's not enough info. Last one, you guys. From 2015. Oh, gosh, I hate this question. Okay. T is the tangent line of F. And it's saying my tangent line is bigger than my function. Let me write this for you. Let me draw this for you. You guys, would you agree my red tangent line is bigger than my function or equal to it? Do you agree the red tangent line in this case is always above it? What about my blue tangent line? Is it still above it? What about my purple tangent line now? Now it's what? Below it. What about purple tangent line now? So when was my tangent line above my function? When my function was concave down. How would I say that in terms of primes and double primes? Exactly. My F double prime has to be less than 0. You're saying E? Beautiful.